In today's video, we're going to be cooking the Here We're Gruyere Get Used to It burger from season 3, episode 3 of Bob's Burgers, titled Bob Fires the Kids. What a lovely day in the neighborhood.
Excuse me?
Ugh. Another burger, another video. This recipe calls for some pretty unique ingredients. I'm kind of excited, but I'm also a little bit worried. Let's see how it turns out.
All right, summer fun starts now.
We were making a French onion soup burger, so naturally we have to slice up some onions. Onions don't usually mess with me that much, but this onion in particular was a beast and had me crying like a baby. Nobody look at me.
What is this feeling I'm feeling right now? It's like I'm sad for another person?
I appreciate that, Louise, but one of the biggest components to this burger is caramelized onions, so over to the stovetop we go. We need to get some butter into our pan so we can melt it, and then subsequently introduce our onions in to mingle. Swirl it around like a ballerina or a fancy chef. Make sure the butter covers the entire cooking surface. You're a champ, you've got this.
No, I can't, Tina.
The smell of onions should fill the air as they start to soften up and cook in the fat. Keep mixing them around to coat and reduce the heat to low. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be worth it. If you feel like really sending it, you can even add some more butter. It's going to be okay, everyone. Butter just makes everything better, as we all know, and it's not nearly as bad as we all probably believe. So with the onions needing to caramelize for about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe even longer, it just depends, we might as well get started on prepping our patty. And we're actually seasoning the patty with this French onion soup mix.
Oh my God, Linda!
When I saw this requirement in the burger book, I was hesitant too, so don't feel too bad, Bob. And spoiler alert, the soup mix actually turns out amazing, and I had no reason to fear at all. Per usual, I'm going to form my patties using my hands before I start to season. With the patty forms, you know what comes next. But what are we supposed to do? We need to season our patty, but instead of using salt and pepper, we're going to be coating the meat in our soup mix, which is already high in sodium. The mix is also comprised of dehydrated onions that we'll need to press into the meat. The same principles as usual apply with the seasoning. We want to make sure every surface is covered, which I'm trying to achieve by rolling it around. There's no exact science to this. In fact, I am winging it hard like a seagull at Coney Island.
Oh, good for you!
I also wasn't sure how much mix to use because even though the recipe book gave a clear instruction, exact measurements are for the week. Am I right? Up top. Either way, I think it turned out great, and I must say that's one good looking ball of meat right there. It's gonna be a while before it's time to actually cook it up, so I'm transferring it back to my fridge while we prep everything else. On to the next step.
What I'm gonna ask you isn't totally legal.
It's time to prep the star of the show, the Gruyere cheese. We got the fresh stuff so that we can grate it ourselves like so. Alright, so let's plant our feet, take off a couple days of work, and really get in there. If you don't wake up hurting places you didn't know existed, then you're not doing it right. Now let's get back over to the stovetop.
Is that a thing? Am I going crazy?
We made our way over here so that we could start making our au jus, which is French for like this video and subscribe, and with juice, which is really just a tasty meat juice sauce similar to a brown gravy, but not completely the same. It's a sauce that is primarily used to dip sandwiches in, like roast beef. Even though I'm using a lot of pre-made packets in this video, this burger has me pretty excited.
Now I get it. If anything, this is too fun.
We need a couple cups of water, but we need to introduce the water slowly and continue to stir as we bring up the mixture to a simmer. A lot of the heavy lifting was already done for us as this came in a powder form, so we can start to relax. The sauce is looking great, even magnifico.
What language is that?
Let's check back on our onions, which are starting to get sticky. Give the au jus a few more stirs, and I can say it's all coming along together nicely.
Oh, yay! Oh, I love it!
It's time to prep our cooking station for our patty. Lay down the law and cooking oil into our piping hot pan and spread it around so we have some flexibility to move the patty. With the patty safely added to the pan, we can mimic our intensity with the cheese and really press down.
Okay, let me just, get in there.
As the patty started to cook, the room started to smell amazing and reminded me of just regular French onion soup. Nothing more nostalgic than a really good cup of soup. In fact, I'd say one of the most memorable meals I've ever had was this one time I had to sprint back to our tour bus after walking along the Cliffs of Moher for an hour or so. I barely made it back in time, but all that running left me so hungry, I went in on a bowl of clam chowder at a tavern. It always feels good to reminisce.
And then I woke up nude on horseback in the forest, and there she was.
With onions on top of the burger, we're going to seal them into the meat with our grated cheese. At this point, we are squarely on the home stretch. We just need the cheese to melt. Best way to speed up this process is to cover the pan and let the steam do its thing. It only took about a minute, and now we're left with this absolute masterpiece. The crispy cheese on the edges will fix you up just right.
There you go, good as new.
The patty is done, so let's scrape it up and get it out of here. One of the last steps before we can put it all together is to toast up our buns, but with a slight twist. I'm going to be using the au jus to act as the fat for our bread. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to spread a thin layer over the plate and then dip the edges of the bun to let it soak up without getting soggy. You don't have to do this step, but I recommend it.
Stop fighting it and give it a chance.
Alright, let's lay it down into the pan and finish this burger up. That looks great, so let's toast up the other half. Everything's pretty much done, but before we build our burger, let me slice up some sweet pickles and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. I love the look and taste of these small pickles. Sweet, but with a heavy taste of turmeric that makes them have a flavor that is very unique. They pack a punch and are a great addition to any sandwich. With these sliced up, we can now build our burger. Starting with the bottom bun. Throw in some crispy cheese, then lay down that juicy patty. Top that with our sliced pickles, and complete it with the top bun. Oh, and don't forget the au jus. Just incredible looking. The burger's done, it's built, it's beautiful. I'm ready to take a bite, and I know you're ready to know how it tastes, so let's not waste any time, let's take a bite. But first, let's dip it. This is incredible. It could be because I'm extremely hungry, but I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. I love French onion soup. I knew I was gonna love this burger. I was questioning a little bit how the pre-mixed packets were going to turn out. They turned out phenomenal. Honestly, one of the best burgers I've ever made. At the end of this series, it's gonna be so hard to rank them because there's so many great burgers that we've already made. I highly recommend you make this one. So that wraps it up. Another burger down. I'll see you next time. Peace. Thanks for feasting with me today, and please subscribe if you liked what you saw.